everyone. Happy Monday and welcome back to Sin City Crypto. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every single weekday, we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada. Formula One is over. It's windy, it's dusty, a lot of sandstorms, traffic was shut down. Stay tuned for more weather updates. But before we get into any other updates, I'd like to introduce you to your other host, and his name is Big Rob.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, well, welcome to the party. We're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel. We take that old, boring, and, well, stale information, and we don't bore you to death when we talk about it. There you go.
We got so much to talk about today, man. We're talking about Argentina, new president. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Can Bitcoin even handle being legal tender, truly legal tender in the country? We're also going to be discussing some economic things happening this week. What to look out for, token unlocks, prices. We're talking about a new partnership with ICP and Robin's on PCP. ICP and Ajax are partnering for a decentralized AI platform. What does that mean? But before we get into anything, I want to give a big thank you to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. If you run a business, you want to maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, and you want to offload out to a company that's literally what they do, so then you can focus on making money for your business, visit bluewiretech.com, or there is a link in the description of this video. Now, I typically get into the funny stuff, but I do want to share some exciting news. Guys, we are officially live on Twitch. Go subscribe to us on twitch.tv, Sin City Crypto. That is our handle. So, damn, we're getting triple. What the hell's going on? Oh, what the hell's going on with my laptop?
Are you like,
huh?
Subscribing over and over again? Is that what you're doing?
I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so we're live on Twitch. We're going to continue to expand our reach across multiple mediums, not just YouTube. Excited about that. Go! If you're on Twitch, go subscribe to us there. Let's pump those numbers up a little bit. Let's also pump up Joe Biden here.
You got to watch out, man. He can break something, bro.
Better watch out. Better not cry. Joe Biden's going to... Okay, anyways. So...
One of those days, huh?
One of those days. Feeling like a freight train.
Thank you. And I love your ears. I love them. They're really cool. What's your name?
Catherine.
Catherine, what a beautiful name. That's my mommy's name. Well, nice to see. How old are you, 17? 6. Thank you. And
how old are you, 17? No, I'm 6. What? What the fuck?
It's like
this is a man who has kids and grandkids, by the way.
I feel like he talks about the GDP the same way. It's like, oh yeah.
What is this?
We're up 10%. No, we're down 4%.
Nuclear warhead.
Damn.
Oh, beautiful warhead you have over there. Are nuclear? Are
He
blasting
is
everything?
so creepy. I'm sorry, man, but anyways, we're not done with Joe Biden as
More Biden.
more Biden. Yeah, and well.
John, I know 2 people near where I live. Their kids literally, as I said, strange, they woke up dead. John, I know...
Do you think there's a trend? Like, what is okay, here, you know how they all have a sign language interpreter at every one of the speeches? What do you think the sign language person does when he does this? Like, language.
They just start throwing out gang signs. The only hands working there are the puppets behind pulling the strings.
Ventriloquist over here. Yeah. Have you ever seen a human?
You invite this guy because he lives in a corridor.
Exactly. I'm not gonna say anything. Let's don't play for itself.
No, what are you doing?
You know, sharks and stuff are attracted to blood. Fishes, right? And what are some twisted tea? And who's gonna come drink the twisted tea? Oh.
Bro, you had it. You know what? I picked up a 12-pack of Twisted Tea. I was just trying to have a nice variety for people who came over. You know, I had some beer. I got a nice little bar stocked. And then for the more simple tins out there, I grabbed some Trulies and Twisted Teas. And well, I was at a beer, and I was like, let me try. This thing is disgusting, bro.
People like them. When your mom is beating you and all of a sudden you got visitors. And then, well, we found Rocco's cat.
Finally, it's
Rocco,
been
what is your
rescued.
cat trying to say here? Just curious.
It says Vafangu.
The bafangul. And, well, we have this as well. Please don't speak Italian to the goat. Anyways, Rob, why don't we take a quick second? Let's yell at some people here.
All right, viewership is at a crawl today, so I'm not really sure what's going on with the algorithm, but we're at 80 viewers, 30 likes. So
80 viewers.
yeah, I don't know. We're off to a slow start today, but we can help that algorithm out by putting something in the chat. Basically, YouTube says, "Hey, there's an active community. They're talking. There's a buzz. There must be something good talking about there." So while we get an Ola chant going, that's a good way to start it off. So we'll start the Monday morning Ola. So I'm gonna put the first Ola in the chat. See if we can get 80 Olas here. And if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and hit that thing. If we can somehow manage to get 180 likes, we will open up the club. Oh, 90 viewers. Okay, see, it's working.
Wow.
You ask and you shall receive.
If
you are new here, say hello so we can drop an Ola back at you. And we'll shout those out a little later when the chat fills up. I did see George Calzadilla. He is new in the chat. So Ola! Well,
now, Robin, some people say money's the root of all evil. Well, some might say money solves a lot of problems. And we do have a potential solve, a fix to Binance being continuously investigated, as the government says that for $4 billion, they will end the criminal case that they are currently looking into for Binance. $4 billion. And, well, I want to share this from Alcon Daily. CZ always knew. He's been telling us the whole time. $4 billion. That is what they want. A lot of industry professionals, Rob, are saying, pay the fine, get this thing done and over with. This is the last piece of negative news hanging over the crypto industry. Let's just move forward. Pay him the $4 billion. What are your thoughts on this? Is this extortion?
it's been an outright attack. I'm not surprised. And I think there's more to come. But I would say this, that the U.S. government, the SEC, Department of Justice, and other branches of the government routinely sue big companies. Kind of what we do, right? We just bully people into submission to falling in step to what we agree is how you should act. And well, we don't think that crypto companies are acting in our best interest, at least not in the best interest of our economy, because it conflicts with what we're doing with the fiat system and shielding the banks. But at the same time, I'll say this: there's no shortage of fines and lawsuits against the big banks as well. So I think as you grow as a company,
have we ever seen a $4 billion? Like,
Yeah,
that's a ridiculous amount of money, bro. That's a lot of money. I mean, you had BlackRock that was fined, or I forget what company it was, that was fined for literally lying on their pink sheets, lying about the price, manipulating the price, and they got fined like $7 million, and they have like 4 or 5 trillion in assets under management. It's so lopsided. I know this is a criminal case, right? But I don't know. People are saying pay the fine. Easy for you to say, right? It's not your money. It's easy's money. But what's on the flip side? The flip side is you say you put up the middle finger to the Department of Justice, say no. They bring a criminal case, and who knows what comes out. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. It's like, do you have an extra $4 billion to just hand over to the U.S., which is in turn going to hand it over to? Well, we know where they're going to hand it over to.
well, you know, the thing, also, just the thing is that they perceive it as a threat, a terrorist organization, right? You agree that the U.S. looks at Binance, they always say they're money laundering, a terrorist organization, right? You hear that quite often.
Yeah.
Well, what about if man says his threat to blow up a bathroom had nothing to do with a bomb?
I was also dropping bombs this morning. You guys hear the splash? Anyways.
I thought we just stick with the weather channel, man.
Yeah, now we're doing also anatomy of the body and how the reproductive system works. Anyways, let's move on, guys. Let's move on to this tweet from Sandeep, the founder of Polygon. I'm not sure if a lot of people noticed that Polygon Proof of Stake smoothly processed 17 million transactions in a single day and generated 1.2 million in revenue for the stakers. So as you can see here in the chart, Rob, we saw Polygon rally up to almost $1. They continue to make big brand name partnerships. New token. So they're converting their Matic token into the POL token, which is going to serve the entire ecosystem, right? Layer 1, layer 2, and there's ZK rollup as well. Are you still pretty bullish on Polygon? You think this thing can crack the maybe the top 5 as not only their own layer 1, but also the top layer 2 for Ethereum?
I think that Polygon had a big run up in the bear market, and actually, if you want to pull up my laptop there, Rocco, you can see this was when this was against the trend of the market, this big rally, and it outperformed damn near everything, at least in the top 20 projects. And I've been saying, I'm like, hey, I would watch out. Polygon got a big pump compared to the market. It's probably going to consolidate for some time. That's exactly what we've had here. And so we've had this massive consolidation. And with if you think about it and what happened here is depths of the bear market. But what didn't really happen was it having a massive resurgence coming out in the same way that Bitcoin did. Now, it did go from 50 cents down here to 80 cents. But at the same time, we've had 100% gains on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has been outperforming Polygon as of lately. And so I think that Polygon is due to rip. I would keep an eye on this. It is probably one big partnership, and they have a whole library of them. They're probably one big partnership away from rallying and getting a 2x. So timestamp this episode, November 20th. I do think that if you get an entry on Polygon, I think now, of course, not financial advice, I wouldn't be surprised to see Polygon at $1.50 within the next, say, 3 weeks. So this is something I'm positioning myself for. I just think the price of the token, how much it's moved as of lately, it's enticing to me, right? And,
Rob,
look at compared to Bitcoin here.
Right here. No. I got it right here. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So compared to Bitcoin, as I was saying here, outperformed Bitcoin in the rest of the markets. And then you can see that it is since April 20th, it's just lost its step with Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin's outperforming it massively. And even here, you'll see that it had more recently a drawdown. It went from 92 cents down to 82 cents. And all the while, as Polygon is dipping, Bitcoin is rallying right now, man. So this is one of my favorite plays, guys. I don't think we need to give you testimonials on why Polygon is what it is, but it's something to keep an eye out. I think my favorite altcoin in the top 20 for the next 2 months.
Really?
Yep.
So I have this chart here. So this is Polygon versus Bitcoin. And as Rob kind of mentioned, saw this massive rally back in June as well. But Polygon's been bleeding against Bitcoin really since July of this year, a reverse course towards the end of October. And we are yet again bleeding against Bitcoin. As Forrest says all the time, which is so true, if you can't even outpace Bitcoin, what's the point of investing in anything outside of Bitcoin, right? If your project can't outpace Bitcoin, then just put your money in Bitcoin because Bitcoin is going to continue to go up. We know Bitcoin has longevity. It's been around the longest. It's got the largest network. It's the most decentralized, right? It's got the most liquidity. So, but yeah, I agree. Polygon, it's not something I've added recently to my position, but I have a decent sized position in Polygon. I definitely think this is potentially a top 5, top 6 token. I definitely think it'll remain the top layer 2 for Ethereum. It's got its own layer 1, and then with the ZK, with the zero knowledge stuff going on, and the partnerships they continue to make, Polygon and the tokenomics are good too.
So top 5. So currently at its market cap, it's sitting at $7 billion. And if it were to crack the top 5, that'd be a 5x from where it's at, to put it in the 33. So basically from 7 of so if it got a $35 billion market cap, it would be a 5x, which would put Polygon at about $2 on the price. So actually more than that. No, $4, excuse me. So could we see a $4 Polygon for it to crack the top 5? I think so. And even if it cracked the top 5, I think that it would still be paying catch up to the other alts. So $40 billion on the table. It's such a good play right now, man. Such an undervalued play. We saw what Avalanche did last week. We saw what a lot of what Ethereum did. We saw what Chainlink has done, and even Cardano has been moving lately. Not quite as heavy as some of the other names I just listed. I think Polygon is gonna rip.
You got a price prediction for us?
I think a 2x within the next 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. I think some kind of announcement or something happens, and I think that money's on the sidelines waiting to buy up Polygon. So I would say $1.50. I think $1.50 is a good number, and I know it's just shy of 2x, but I think within the next 3 weeks you'll see $1.50 on Polygon. Which
Polygon $10 next market cycle? The height of the next bull market?
I don't know. I mean, I could see it. We can easily make a case for it, but I'm a little bit more conservative. I think that $4, like we were saying, $4 to give it a 5x from where it's at now, crack into the top 5 if none of the other coins moved. But I think the whole market's going to move. There's going to be a lot more liquidity in there. And I think Polygon is going to be a very attractive and lucrative token to get into because of its sheer partnerships. And with partnerships comes utility and use case and community. And I think that is all that's really kind of missing there at the moment.
I want to know what the chat thinks. Do you guys think Polygon could get to $10 in the next bull market? Put a 1 for yes, put a 2 for no. We're interested to see. Also, Tony D's future wife, that was formerly known as Jessica. I thought something's going on with Jessica and Jimmy. I guess she dumped Jimmy and went for Tony D. Unacceptable, Jessica. We don't turn our backs on our own community members here. Shame on you, Jimmy.
What about Big Rob's future wife?
You are divorced.
Yeah.
It's public. That's why I said that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on block again.
You're on the block. Ladies, send your applications to Robin at SinCityCrypto.io. Make sure there's a headshot and make sure you tell him. I don't know. We have this piece of news. So a lot of ETF chatter as majority of the ETFs got delayed yet again. The next big day we're looking at is January 10th. As a majority of them, I believe, including ARK, is going to be at the final, right? This is it. You either deny or approve. That's happening January 10th. And ARK just disclosed the fee for their spot ETF to be 80 basis points, or pretty much 0.8%. BlackRock has came out and said 0.65%. We know currently GBTC is charging 2%. So a big move against the norm of these high fees. Where will we land? Who knows? But Rob, we talk about this pretty often, but to the people that are negative about a spot ETF, are there any negatives you could potentially think about that a spot ETF might bring?
Negatives? No. I mean, you're gonna get an immediate injection of capital, liquidity, and so you'll have more volatility, which in turn you'll get the crypto traders are gonna put in positions. So there's gonna be wild swings. But with that said, it's not necessarily bad. With more volume comes when more volume comes more attention. I think the more attention that people have of Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's kind of fallen to the wayside with traditional retail and also just investors in legacy finance and in stocks. And so putting Bitcoin front and center, like, hey, I just made a bunch of money on Bitcoin. Your friend made a bunch of money, or hey, even your friend lost a bunch of money. I think any attention at this moment, it brings awareness, and hey, just like you hear all the time, any publicity is good publicity, and so I think Bitcoin falls in the same camp. So I think volatility is a good thing, but it could scare some people off immediately.
Yeah.
But that's about the only bad thing I can say about the ETF. I mean, I'm not even gonna scratch the surface on this idea that institutions custodying Bitcoin is against Bitcoin's premise.
But a lot of people are saying that. You don't think they have a point?
No.
Why not?
Why not? Because there's in the thesis of price go up, you're gonna need more players to get in, and the biggest players on the block are institutions. So if you want that $200,000 Bitcoin, you want that $1 million Bitcoin, which it'll get there eventually. It just depends on the time horizon. It would be foolish and just unrealistic to think that institutions wouldn't try to profit off of the price of Bitcoin moving and it being sold in retail. And so those products and services are going to be integrated with the biggest financial players in the world. And we're seeing it front and center with the likes of BlackRock and Ark Invest and all of the other hedge funds and portfolio managers out there are getting exposure to it or at least preparing for it. And the ETF is the perfect avenue to do it. It mitigates risk because you don't have to custody it yourself. You don't have to worry about seed phrase. You don't have to worry about losing your tokens. Someone else has taken that risk for you. And in the past, we've said, hey, not your keys, well, sure, that makes sense. But when the person that's holding your keys is BlackRock, which has enough assets under management to compete with, well, just about every country minus the top two, then at that point,
But technically, it's not your Bitcoin, though, right?
it's-
You're getting exposure to Bitcoin, but you don't own any Bitcoin.
I mean, here's the thing: you technically do.
No, you don't. If you don't have your private keys, you do not own the Bitcoin. Someone else is holding the
No,
Bitcoin.
you do, but it's about as close as you can get. It's the same as buying the Bitcoin on an exchange.
I'm not saying it's
And
look. There's
okay. Let me ask you something. If you buy a Bitcoin on Coinbase, do you own it?
if it's on Coinbase, no.
Yeah, it's the same.
But if you take it off the exchange and it's in
this-
your hardware wallet
yeah.
where you can sign you have the private key to sign a transaction, send or use to buy, then yeah, you that is yours.
Yeah, but you
there's
still
nothing-
you still have your position in Bitcoin, and yes, you can't physically send it to another person. You can't buy a cup of coffee in El Salvador with it. So those features have been removed. But it moving towards digital gold, it moving to a part of your portfolio. The thing is you have a portfolio with stocks and precious metals and gold and other commodities. It doesn't really make sense to just custody Bitcoin in a wallet with a wallet address outside of the framework you already have. So if you're going to get an exposure, you're going to have S&P 500, you're going to have gold here in an ETF format, and you're also going to have Bitcoin. And as long as a custodial agent is a trustworthy person, I think for institutions it makes sense. Now, if you're absolute bullish on Bitcoin, then you don't want to pay the 0.85% or the 0.65%. You don't want to you want to carry zero risk for the custodial agent to have something happen, then you custody yourself. Hence a micro strategy. Now, why would they have someone else custody their Bitcoin? They're all in on it. That's their whole business thesis. And so if you're a company and you just want to allocate 2-3%, why even take the risk of losing any of that when you could just simply just say, hey, we already use BlackRock for these commodities and these stocks and these ETFs. Why not we're going to get Bitcoin, just buy it in the same format, the same platform. And so when it comes to me and you, an individual's person watching, custody your Bitcoin, it makes sense. When it comes to institutions, it might make more sense just to go to ETF.
Here, I think the difference for me is: do you want exposure to Bitcoin as an investment, or do you want exposure to Bitcoin as a hedge against your government, currency debasement, and inflation? If it's the latter, you're going to want to custody your own Bitcoin. If it's the former and you just want exposure, you want to see your portfolio grow, which is great, cool. You want to invest in a hard money asset, kind of like investing in gold, you know, speculating. Great. Then go with an ETF, go with an exchange, right? But I believe for a majority of the people, at least our audience that are watching and you guys watching, correct me if I'm wrong, we're into Bitcoin because we want to exit the current system, or at least have a hedge against the current system when it inevitably falls. There's no issue with either. That's the thing. Like, I don't understand the people that get attacked for just wanting exposure and the people that get attacked for wanting to custody their own crypto. We can have both, just like centralization and decentralization. They both have a place in the market. As long as you have the option to go with one or the other, it's great. Some people like the ease of use and comfortability and convenience of a centralized entity or exchange. Great, use it. Just know the risks. Some people, I don't trust them. I want to hold it myself. Great, there's a decentralized option as well.
I think it just fits. It fits certain baskets for people. And I think for institutions, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I think for someone that isn't confident in seed phrases and doesn't have experience, it makes sense. My dad wants to go buy a Bitcoin, all of a sudden get exposure. For the love of God, don't try to do the seed phrase thing.
I agree.
You
I agree.
Probably fail. Just call somebody, say, hey, buy me $10,000 worth of Bitcoin through this ETF and stick it in my portfolio. And so it just depends on how comfortable you are with custodying your own Bitcoin. And if you feel confident, then you should. And I would highly recommend you follow that route on self-custody. If you don't feel confident, you're new into the game, or you don't have the time to properly secure your crypto, then let somebody else do it. If there's someone in here that you have ultimate confidence in. And I have ultimate confidence that at least in the next 5 to 6 years, BlackRock ain't going nowhere. And even if they did, I think that they wouldn't.
They're not going
to freeze your assets and you'd be able to sell, right?
The government owes them a favor. They got a get out of jail free card. I'll put it that way. Speaking of get out, Sam Altman was told to get out. So this is from Reuters. Just a quick timeline of events. November 17th, OpenAI board fires Sam Altman and President Greg Brockman. They fire CEO Sam Altman and then the president quits. A day later, it was known that he was firing over a breakdown in communication between Sam and the board. And then the same day, early investors say he wants Altman back. Employees signed letters saying that they'll quit if they don't bring Altman back and the board resigns. It was at 500 employees. Now it's 700 employees. Nearly 90, I think the number was 92 or 95% of the total staff has said, if you do not bring Sam Altman back, we will quit. But in a twist of a turn of events, Microsoft has signed Sam Altman to lead their AI division at Microsoft. And then former Twitch CEO Emmett Shear is now the new interim CEO for Open.ai. And yeah, we have that. Any quick thoughts on this, Robin?
There's a lot to unpack there. First of all, you might be wondering, why are we discussing this? What does this got to do with crypto? Well, hey, Sam Altman is also the founder or co-founder of WorldCoin. So he has also been very outspoken when it comes to crypto, particularly Bitcoin. And so this is somebody that has a platform, or at least a name and notoriety that speaks highly on crypto, that is trying to build. Whether or not you think WorldCoin is a net positive or negative, this guy is an integral piece to the puzzle that is the crypto markets. And him leaving OpenAI, very interesting. I don't really know what that means. I don't know if that's good or bad for OpenAI. It doesn't really matter. Him going to Microsoft, don't know if it's good or bad. I will say, though, if Microsoft hasn't really took a position positively or negatively when it comes to crypto, so perhaps he will be in the Microsoft camp, and all of a sudden he'll start talking about crypto and Bitcoin, and maybe we'll see more of a progressive
Trojan horse.
Maybe. I mean,
hey, I'm here for AI.
It's ideas, right? And
invest in cash.
and why is Bitcoin so polarizing? is because it breaks down barriers. It is an alternative to fiat, an alternative to gold. It's an alternative to payment system. It banks unbanked people. I don't need to go down the list, but what makes it appealing is that crazy guy sitting at the Thanksgiving Day table that won't shut up about Bitcoin. And then at some point he makes some good point. He makes a good argument, and you're like, you know what? He is right. Gas prices have doubled every goddamn 3 years. And so this could be the Trojan horse of at least ideas and thoughts and marketing strategy when it comes to implementing crypto. And then the Twitch CEO, that guy is trash, bro. You know what? He developed a good product, but that thing has been stagnant. Twitch has fallen off. We're live on Twitch?
Yeah.
We love Twitch. But it has fallen off from grace from its all-time high. And compared to YouTube, it has literally just kept declining in viewership and community and as a go-to live streaming platform. And the new CEO, I can't remember his name. The guy's got long, crazy white hair. Anyways, this dude is very progressive. He's integrating Twitch with YouTube, or at least giving functionality so that way you can stream together. Because Twitch took the stance of where you're like, hey, you either make content for Twitch or you don't make content at all. If you want to play with YouTube, go there. Otherwise, you can't do both. And so he broke down those barriers. So a lot of people are very excited about the direction of Twitch with the new CEO. And a lot of the Twitch community was very upset in the direction of Twitch with the former CEO. So he's already coming in lackluster as far as the community from Twitch into OpenAI. I don't know if it was the best pick. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, we do see people like Josh McDaniels keep getting head coaching opportunities. No idea why. Let's move on to the market. So every Monday, guys, for those of you tuning in, you get rewarded because we do a little investigating. We tell you what are some big things happening in the economy this week. So especially if you're a trader or an investor, I want to say a daily investor, but someone who watches the prices on a regular basis and makes moves in your portfolio, some potential catalyst for volatility. So in the U.S. tomorrow, you have some mortgage info coming out, existing home sales, month over month, year over year. You have some more treasury auctions. That'll be interesting to take a look at. We saw the last one with the 30-year bonds was a complete disaster to where the treasury had to bump up the interest rate just to be able to get people to buy them. Also on Tuesday, we have FOMC minutes coming out. See how the markets react to that. Mortgage rates, those come out on Wednesday. Durable goods, continuing jobless claims. And I believe we have a bunch of sentiment from Michigan coming out. That happens to kind of lets you know where the average American, where their sentiment is on the economy. And then on Thursday, lots happening in the EU. And on Friday, the global manufacturing PMI for the S&P, that is happening. So a lot of macro data coming out this week. As far as crypto goes, so these are the top 100, some of the biggest happenings. IoTex is doing a live spaces on Twitter, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is happening today. So if you're an investor in IoTex and you want to learn more about maybe what's going on, Conflux, the China coin, they're doing an AMA as well. Black Friday AMA, a lot of AMAs, which is good because especially during bear markets, your investors, people who have money in your platform, they want to know what are you doing, what partnerships are you creating, maybe quell some fears. So that's always good. And then NEO is having a testnet upgrade as far as some token unlocks this week. Significant one I'm taking a look at is Avalanche, which will be releasing about 2.68% of their total supply this week. So take a look at Avalanche here. Their emissions are about 2.8% average a year, with over 9.5 million in cliff unlocks happening throughout the year. And on the bottom here, you can see where the allocations are and what is getting unlocked. And you can see here the gray is staking rewards. So that is the biggest chunk of what is being released as far as token inflation. And then once we head into September of next year, you're going to see a lot more becoming unlocked from seed sales and the foundation. So typically those tend to sell off. But something just to keep an eye on. And as far as what do we have circulating, we have about 50% of the max supply of AVAX that is circulating. A lot of people are comparing it to Solana. You got to remember, guys, Solana has no max capped supply. Avalanche does. So yeah. And then
Go ahead.
just real quick, just take a look at anything else I got here. So Looks Rare, which I don't know if anyone uses that much. That is having about 6.8% of their tokens being unlocked. And then Singularity Net over the next 7 days, about 2.7 million, which is a little more than 0.75% of the total supply becoming unlocked. So that are some things to keep an eye on, you guys. And that's all I got. And then let's whatever you want to say, and let's get into
I just want to, actually, I'll get right into the markets. Actually, that's where I was going. A ton of volatility in Bitcoin this morning, and so just since 6 a.m. Here Pacific time, $36,000 Bitcoin. 2 hours later, 37.6. An hour later, 36.9, and currently sitting at 37.7. So lots of movement on Bitcoin. I know the traders are licking their chops right now, especially since the general trend is to the upside right now. But we are making big moves in both directions, but trending upwards. Are we going to cross 38,000? You know what? I want to ask the chat. Do you think that we'll cross $38,000 by the end of the show? It's really not that far away. $270 away from $38,000. If you think we'll cross 38,000 by the end of the show, it's about 20 minutes or so. I'll put a 1 in the chat. If you think that we're not going to, put a 2 in the chat. I'm curious to see where you guys think if we'll get a nice candle to the upside perhaps by the end of the show. But a lot of volatility there. Taking a look at the broader crypto markets, we do have Ethereum over the $2,000 mark as well, up 3% on the day. So nice, healthy movement from Ethereum. BNB up 5%. They said, who you suing? We don't care. Buy more tokens. And so we know they're cooking the order books over there, but it is what it is. Lido up 10%. And hey, you know what? You got Ethereum pumping. Why not Lido, right? ApeCoin up 8%. And then also...
Are you an investor in ApeCoin?
Absolutely.
Why not? So if you want exposure to Yuga Labs, what are you doing?
I don't want exposure to Yuga Labs.
But what if someone does? What if someone wants exposure to Yuga Labs? Are you going to tell them that just no?
Go buy it.
Go buy what?
If you want exposure to Yuga Labs, go buy it. You want exposure to Tesla stock, go buy it. Me personally, I don't want nothing to do with that thing.
Why? You don't think Yuga Labs is a brand name that's going to endure?
Do you? I don't believe in their metaverse.
It's not just metaverse.
I don't believe in their JPEGs outside of the original Bored Ape JPEG that they have. The original line of NFTs. I think those will always carry value. Will they move with the market, at least rally as hard as other crypto projects? Can you pick up a Bored Ape and expect the same returns as you could for some other top crypto projects? I think so. I do think you're running a risk. I don't know if the NFT market is going to taper off, if it's going to fade. And for me, I just don't. I feel like there is more security in returns from top altcoins. I'd rather have 10,000. I'd rather have, what's a Bored Ape, like 20, 30,000 right now?
No. It's about 30. It's about 60K.
60K.
Wait, no. Yeah, 60K.
So 60K. So for me, I'd rather have 60K in Solana, Cardano. I mean, the list goes on. I would rather have 60K in Polygon than own one Bored Ape. And so for me, if that's your bread and butter, that's what you're tying your hip to, then why? For me, this is just way more appealing. It's the same thing. Like if I didn't really believe in Bitcoin, I'm not going to go buy MicroStrategy stock, right? Because that's just a proxy for it. If I don't believe in Bitcoin, I'm not going to go invest in Riot or Marathon, which are publicly traded mining companies. And if I don't believe in if I don't feel confident in the bread and butter of Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is their NFTs and metaverse, at that point, why get exposure to the token if I don't believe in the project. And I don't fault anybody for having it. I think that there is a good chance that the NFT market bounces back. I think that a lot of what we got used to, where all of these new projects are minting, everyone's making money, the NFT bros are just, just in the green all the time during the bull market. I don't know if that's going to necessarily come back. And so, because I like that confidence, I don't want any exposure to it. I'd rather have exposure to Polygon.
Sounds like you're scared, bro.
Yeah.
Scared money.
Yeah, I am.
You know who's not scared? Is the man. Crazy man, Javier Milei has officially become the new president of the great country of Argentina. The FIFA 2022? 2022 FIFA World Champions. So obviously we know he won. A couple of things that are coming out of here. He has vowed to replace the Argentinian peso with a US dollar, and he's going to shut down the central bank. Now, here in the US, we're a little jaded, right? Politicians say things, they rarely ever follow up on what they say. But will this happen? This is good news for anyone having dollars here in the US. This is good news for the United States Treasury. This is good news for the United States government. And this is good news for liquidity across the globe. We do have this video clip. It's about 2 minutes long. So this is when, back when he was just a candidate for president, he was talking about Bitcoin. So let's watch this.
Lo pondera como una especie de alternativa monetaria. ¿Vos creés que es posible en Argentina esa discusión?
A ver, ¿cuál es el punto? El punto es que lo primero que hay que comprender es que el Banco Central es una estafa, ¿sí? Es un mecanismo por el cual los políticos estafan a las personas de bien con el impuesto inflacionario. El Bitcoin lo que está representando es la vuelta del dinero a su creador originario, que es el sector privado. El dinero es una invención del sector privado para resolver problemas, digamos, de lo que tiene que ver con, en una economía de trueque, sería la doble coincidencia y la indivisibilidad. Y después aparece el papel, digamos, como una cuestión de portabilidad. O sea, porque en realidad vos tuviste distintas monedas. O sea, tuviste el lino, el trigo, digamos, la sal, de ahí viene salario, de ahí la superstición de si se cae la sal en la mesa. Y eso evolucionó y las monedas que eligieron los agentes, que fueron los individuos, eligieron la plata para las transacciones chicas, el oro para las transacciones grandes. Y eso después, digamos, como era un peligro cargarlo, entonces, ¿qué hacían? Lo dejaban depositado y se llevaban un comprobante de que estaba eso ahí. Y después, en 1445, digamos, en el primer congreso de Génova, digamos, los estados se apropiaron de, digamos, de tener la exclusividad para poder emitir. Es que es el curso forzoso, que esta es la clave. ¿Por qué? Porque el curso forzoso es lo que le permite a los políticos robarte con el impuesto inflacionario. El Bitcoin no, digamos, tiene un algoritmo y un día va a llegar a una determinada cantidad y no hay más. Y puede competir con otras monedas. De hecho, compite contra Ethereum, compite contra otras. ¿Y qué es lo interesante? Que es la vuelta al sector privado. Pero ¿cuál es el problema? El problema es que los estados no te van a querer ceder que el curso forzoso, porque del curso forzoso te estafan con el impuesto inflacionario. Entonces, el Bitcoin es la reacción natural frente a la estafa que son los bancos centrales y que el dinero vuelva a ser privado. Y la contracara es que los políticos ladrones no te van a permitir ir contra el curso forzoso. ¿Qué es lo que pasa? Cuando vos tenés economías con alta inflación y el problema de la estafa es más claro, entonces hasta podés discutir, como digamos planteo yo, directamente eliminar el Banco Central.
I do want to give a little more context here. I'm not going to show this video, but Argentina's population is about 45.8 million people. But here's the interesting thing. We scroll down to the bottom here. The median age in Argentina, Robin, is 32 years old. That is in my age group, right? Those are the millennials, right? I'm a millennial. And we know that the younger generation, right, and a little bit of Gen X, the generation before the millennials, they're more receptive to change and technology and things like Bitcoin. And then when you bring in the economic factors, so 519, so $500 billion in GDP, which ranks 25th globally, but they are the second largest economy in South America. We know South America, a lot of things are happening. A lot of turnover is happening. A lot of people are saying Latin America and South America are going to be the technology hub, the money financial hub of the world in the next 10 to 20 years. And then we have this as well. Argentina's stock market is soaring after the election. So here you go. You have a majority up 38%, 22%, 20%, 11%, and then 1%. Rob, let's unpack this. I'll kind of give you an open floor here. You want to talk about them bringing the dollar back? You want to talk about what he said about Bitcoin? Will it actually be legal tender? What does that even mean for the price of Bitcoin? You think more countries are going to follow suit? Is this more important than when El Salvador said they're going to make Bitcoin legal tender?
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to take the same route that El Salvador did with the legal tender, but it sounds as though they're kind of going that direction because El Salvador currently has two currencies. They have the dollar and they have Bitcoin. And what we're seeing unfold in Argentina is we have a president that is against central bank. That is, he has ran his presidency had run off of the premise of that the central bank is the reason and the cause for the inflation and the debasement of your currency. I think the inflation was around 200% this year alone with your currency, which means you've more than you've more than half of your purchasing power is gone. More than half. Half would be 100%. And so this is not anything new. This isn't a product of COVID and the financial situation. Argentina's been dealing with this for the last 20 years. And so it is just sped up lately. And citizens are fed up with it. You can't save. You can't save for college. You can't save for a car. You can't save for a house. And basically, you're living paycheck to paycheck, and you're trying to either spend the money before it gets debased and it's not worth as much as it was when you got paid, or you put it in a commodity, right? And so you either spend it or you put it in something that retains its value, whether it's a house, a car, or a good, or an investment, or something like Bitcoin or gold. We've seen that in Argentina, people are just simply moving their money over to dollars. However, the central bank there and the banks and the banking system there make it extremely difficult, if not illegal, to take your currency out, or take your money out of the national currency and move it into dollars or move it into something like Bitcoin. Now, it is something they try to put a stop to, but they've had very little success across the nation.
All that's created is a black market of people trading dollars.
Exactly. And you have somebody that is running off of, hey, aren't you pissed off about this? And it is a very extreme idea, right? But, if you want extreme change, you got to implement extreme ideas, and you got to be aggressive. And I'm just curious if the Argentinian government, the entire everything there, will it be able to function if they get rid of the central bank and get rid of their own currency? I don't know if they can sustain it. I don't know if they won't revolt, because at the end of the day, you're creating a big reset, right?
But what if you have to lose though?
Oh no, I'm 100%
like
there.
if you were living in Argentina, put yourself as an Argentinian resident, right? Don't you want them to flip this thing on its head? I mean, or are you happy with?
But are the citizens gonna be able to stomach what that looks like in the short
They've been
term?
stomaching 140%.
Yeah, but it's gonna be that much worse, right?
At least there's a goal, and at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
No, there is, but I don't know if the citizens will accept it. If all of a sudden your bank shuts down.
They elected him.
No, I'm just
they know what he wanted to do.
No, I'm for it. I'm just saying that, like, if all of a sudden you don't have your currency, you can't go open your bank account or whatever, you lose savings. There's all kinds of trickle down events. Companies start closing, banks go under. It's kind of like the wild, wild west, because it's no different than changing a government, right? You see in these war torn areas that we can use the America war machine as an example. We go over to another country, we blow up their entire government, And then for the next 4 or 5 years, it's absolute chaos. It's there's no order. All you have is military with martial law, and it is a very, very dramatic and toxic situation for the people in the short term. And you can look at those areas in the long term and say, hey, they came out better afterwards. And I think this is going to be exactly that financially. It would be no different than if we look back at 2008 with our own financial situation. We could have went 2 paths. We could have hit the great reset button, let the banks go under, not taken on a crap ton of debt we couldn't pay back, not bail out all the banks, not inflate money and print money out to death. We could have done that. But instead, we chose to print money and proceed, kick the can down the road, borrow more money, and now we're simply borrowing money to pay back interest. And so were we ready then? I've heard you say before that when we talk about the 2008 financial crisis, you're like, we couldn't let the banks go under. We couldn't let the banks go under. You said that. So in your own home country, you didn't want that to happen. You didn't want the banks to go under. You didn't want to go to work and not have a Bank of America account or a Wells Fargo account. That was, you couldn't stomach it. And so now that here in your own country, you can easily say that, but it's the same if you're living in Argentina. You live in Argentina, like, hey man, you're going to blow up the central bank, the entire banking infrastructure, and we're going to go back to archaic times. Now, how quickly can they adopt the US dollar as their currency? How quickly can they put in the rails for Bitcoin? It's not going to be within a week or 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months. It's going to take years to happen. Now, I think this is probably one of the most bullish narratives you could put out here for Bitcoin. It is basically what we talk about on our show every single day, is that the government is stealing from you. The government is printing money for their own narrative. The only person that ends up losing here is the middle class and lower class people, that the little money they have is now worth less, and they have to stretch their budget, work a second job. And so this is exactly that. It is a collapse of, if he goes through what he campaigned on, it is a collapse of the fiat system in that country. And is this something that is going to be the norm? Because if this happens here and it is successful, because here's the thing. El Salvador already had the dollar, and they just tagged Bitcoin there. What this man is proposing is the abolishing of the central bank, the removal of their own currency, and the adoption of the dollar, but more importantly, also progressive private money, which he has boasted as Bitcoin. And I think that if this is successful, if we look at this a year and a half from now and their economy is in a better spot than it is now, holy crap, who the hell is running an economy in a similar situation that wouldn't follow suit? Especially if Bitcoin's at 100 grand. Bitcoin's at $200,000. El Salvador is looking like a damn genius. Argentina done turned things around. And then you're sitting over here, you're over here getting threatened by the IMF. Your own country is falling by the wayside by inflation. It just makes sense. This is what we have been talking about. We've been talking about there's going to be an arms race when it comes to Bitcoin. And the arms race, the catalyst for that is that nation states are going to start adopting it. And you have a progressive president that campaigned on the fact that, hey, we're getting rid of fiat, we're bringing in Bitcoin. Now, he hasn't said that he's going to bring in Bitcoin, but that's the direction he's going. And he's looking at the neighbors to the north, El Salvador. It's working out pretty well for them, or at least it didn't work out negatively. And so this is one of the most bullish things ever. And if you are a fan of crypto, you're a fan of Bitcoin, you need to look at today as a pivotal moment where things change. Now, that is to say, if the dude delivers on his promises. And I'm curious to see if he will abolish the central bank. If he does that, there's no going back.
Yeah.
If he does that, there is no going back. If he gets rid of the central bank, that is an unprecedented move. And it is a testament to the direction that the rest of the world is going to go. top 25 economy, massively larger than El Salvador. El Salvador is a tiny economy compared to the rest of the world, compared to Argentina. And if Argentina does this, there's nothing to stop countries in Africa, other Latin American countries. And this is something to keep an eye on.
And you thought the El Salvador effect was big, right? A lot of news came out. They paid their debt back. They're back to zero. The new treasury bonds, people are investing, tourism, the economy's looking great. They're building you think that brought exposure or was good for Bitcoin? Multiply that by about 10. If Argentina does what President Javier Milei says he's going to do, and if it becomes successful, now you have 2 case studies you can look at and say, wow, this is working. Next thing you know, people rise up, they revolt. We're tired of your fiat system. We're tired of the tax. We're tired of watching our spending money, our spending power decline year after year. This is what we want. And if you are running for president, if you are not putting this at your forefront, you have no chance. And that is when the wheels start turning. That is when we start to move forward, not just as individual countries, but as a humanity. Race and humanity.
I do want to give a little love to the chat here. If you are new, say hello so we can drop that hola back at you. We have Paul Baker, BC, Alf, Ruben M, Keegan, Michael O, Francisco, Matt the Mailman, Druzy, DJ Flexa, Cherry City Bullies, and Country Crypto. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. What do you guys think about what's going on in Argentina? Do you think that Argentina is going to be in a better position, say, by the end of his presidency? How long is the term there? Do you have any idea? I should
No.
look. But either by the end of his term, let's just apply a four-year window here, whether that's the end of his term or not. Do you think within the next 4 years, which is an entire Bitcoin cycle, do you think that in the next 4 years, Argentina is it okay? Do you think in the next 4 years, Argentina will be better financially with this president and him blowing up the central bank, adopting the dollar, and also adopting Bitcoin? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that they'll be in a better spot in 4 years. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that, well, you got somebody that's loud, outspoken, and shooting from the hip. Might not be a good thing. Put a 2 in the chat. I want to know what you guys think.
Also want to know what our sponsor thinks when I thank them one more time. So, big thank you again to our channel sponsor, Cam's Blue Wire Technology. You want to learn how they can help your business scale, grow, and maximize your networking, IT, and cybersecurity? Visit BlueWireTech.com. There's a link in the description of this video. Also, guys, go follow us on Twitter at SinCityCrypto1. I have not selected the portfolio yet for Rate My Portfolio. You can either submit it via the submission channel in Discord or hop over to Twitter and you can DM us directly there. That's what I would recommend. DM us directly, but definitely go join our Discord as well. And then we will rate someone's portfolio live on air tomorrow. Anything else you got, Rob?
We do have Supreme, Redman, Poe, Mike, Luis, and Rusty Bot all put 1s in the chat. Hindi put a 2 in the chat. I saw Rocco back there shaking his head quite often when I was asking that the question on the direction of the economy. What do you think? I feel like you got something to say there.
Yeah,
Rocco.
what do you say?
Yeah, I just was looking at the term of the Argentina. So it's 4 years plus 4 if you get reelected. I just hope it doesn't end up like Venezuela, that the guys goes off rails and become the new dictator. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Just person name, one says lefty, the other one is actually this one is extremely right. But at the end, if money is involved, that's the problem. Is this guy legit? Is gonna stay there and really care for the people, or is he just gonna eat the whole pie and destroy the even worse than what it is now?
What do you think the economy in a better spot 4 years from now? What's your gut say? Do you think they'll be better off in 4 years or worse off financially as a country?
I think it depends what action is going to take. Because take it off the central bank, what that means, it can mean yes, it's going to have the last word how to manage the money, or it want to just keep the money out for itself. So that's a lot of, I don't know. There is a lot of things going on in there. Written cartel.
A lot of
like
unknown.
cartel, like somebody mentioned. A lot of resource. Argentina is really rich. It used to be very rich too. But where this wealth is gonna go? Which direction? It's gonna be now other country try to invade and try to take part of the politics. And I take it as a reference Venezuela, because now Venezuela is pretty much has a lot of the influence by Russia, Turkey, and North Korea. And in exchange of gold and oil, they got protection, and they do have an army sitting there, so people can revolt and they can protest. Is Argentina at the same way? Who knows? Hopefully not. I really hope not.
I agree with what you said, Robin, as far as there's going to be pain. The question is, when the 4-year comes up and it's re-election time, is there still going to be pain? Are people going to say, screw it, this didn't work? Because you know how people are, right? They want instant gratification. So are the people of Argentina going to be willing to sit by, endure a little bit of pain to see a better future?
And this was compliments to our in-house Latin geopolitical expert, Rocco. We need to bring you on more when we talk about Latin America.
Sí, lo siento.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Well, yeah. Anyways, I was going to say something, but I don't want to put your personal information on.
In italiano.
Anyways, Italiano.
Italiano.
With that being said, Rocco,
Sí.
this is an Italian tornado.
Terrible one, but let it slide.
Tornado.
The terrible one.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. What a great show. We hope you had a fun time. Come back tomorrow. We got Magic Internet Money joining us from TA. Also, rate my portfolio. Also, more crypto. We love you here. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Watching that Polygon price.
Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Named according to your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting